Hello, my name is Woody. This is Changing the House of Pods, a podcast about Deftones. Today, my guest is Lorenzo Diego Carrera, director of the extremely cool new videos we've seen from Crosses in the past month or so, and the video for the Changing the House of Flies tourist remix, the one video Deftones released with the Black Stallion remixes, the one with the footage we'd never seen before. And I asked him about making the Change remix video and how that happened. I also asked him what it was like directing the new Crosses videos for Initiation and Protection. I'm sure you've been as eager as me to hear what Chino and Sean have been working on. I mean, their first album just bangs, and their new songs are just as good. And the videos have been such a cool compliment to the music. It's been really fun to see. And speaking of new songs, well, new to the stage, holy shit, they're playing Lovers, man. Are you kidding me? What? And it sounds amazing. They sound amazing. It's been an incredible experience watching Deftones perform again, at least from my couch at this point. But nevertheless, just a tremendous joy. So uplifting. Watching fans get excited, talking with you about the shows, and the set list is dope too. Lovers, Bloody Cape, Royal, for the love of Pete, Royal. I mean, come on, man. That is a spicy-ass Deftones show. You got the hits, every album's represented, motherfucking Lovers, because it's worth mentioning again and again, plus Ohms and Genesis are amazing. This is as good as it gets, man, and I am so happy to continue the celebration on this podcast. My guest today has directed music videos for Paris, Mastodon, Deftones, and Crosses. He's the founder of Yhellow, that's Yhellow, a production company based in Los Angeles. My conversation with Lorenzo Diego Carrera begins with how he got into directing.
So basically, when I'm from 1991, so I was 10, 11 when I used my first camera. And because, so I'm Italian, my parents, they used to have a house in the south of Italy. So during the summer, when me and my brother, we were off school, we used to go in the south for 3 months, as a holiday. And I used to steal my father's camera to film with some friends, just like some stupid shit. When you're like young, you're like, it's your holiday. So you go around, you visit abandoned place and all that stuff. So that actually was my first approach to using a camera, doing video. In that period, 2001, 2002, I started to listen to music and I started to listen to, Linkin Park, Deftones, all that kind of music, the new metal. And so I started to play music right after. In 2006, 2007, I started to play with few bands. And at some point, there was a necessity of like making a video. In the meantime, from 2001 to 2006, 7, 8, I started to study graphic and photography. So it was like an automatic thing. So at some point, I had a camera and my band wanted to make a music video. And I was like, let me try to shoot my music video. So we did that. Me and my band, I shot my music video. And after that, all our band's friends, they were like, oh, wait, I want a music video too. So I started to do music video more as like a passion side job because I was still like, working as a graphic artist with my father for some agency. So at some point when I saw that with music, I couldn't make, anything in Italy, I stopped playing music and I actually started to do video more seriously till 2018 that I moved in the United States and there I started to work mainly with the record label. So that is like really, really, really short, but it how I went.
Where in Italy are you from?
I was born in Torino, also known as Turin, which is in the north. It's like 1 hour from Milan.
What kind of music were you playing when you were?
I was playing so in the beginning I was playing more like punk, covers. But when I started to play like seriously with bands, we were playing death metal. So I was singing, so I was like screaming and singing with Grow. And I was not singing melodic at all. So the music was like literally a big mess and like,
like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Is there like a big like death metal scene in northern Italy? Is that what's up?
It's not a big scene. There is a lot of people that listen metal. It's just that Italy is kind of not cool for the music scene, in my opinion, because people don't go to concerts, people don't go to shows. kind of like people are shy or like they don't support the scene. There is a lot of people listening to metal and rock, but people don't show up to plays. And it's like it's different because when I came to United States, I've been around the United States, many cities, and I really like to go to show, to go to a jazz bar. And here is like it's cool, it's organic. People go out, people want to go out and see, but even if they don't know who's playing, they want to go out and see a show. In Italy is different. There is not a lot of people that like to go to shows of people that they don't know. You see a lot of people when, Slipknot play, Iron Maiden, huge band, but they don't support the underground scene.
So when you were getting into making music videos, and it was probably the bands that you were making music videos for, it was probably a really small group of bands that were just in your area.
Yeah.
But before that, rewind backwards that like 10 years when you first started filming stuff and started getting into music, you talked about nu metal and you talked about Deftones. Is that when you very first like started listening to Deftones?
Yeah. I started listening to Deftones with White Pony, when White Pony, slightly after White Pony came out, because the first band that I listened to was Linkin Park, and I discovered Deftones through them. So it was like that period there.
Were a lot of your friends into Linkin Park and Deftones?
Yeah.
Was that was like it was a major thing in northern Italy?
Those, I mean, I think in around Italy and in Europe in general, in that period, those bands, they were huge, the same as here.
Did they ever come and tour? Did you ever like get to see Deftones in northern Italy when you were?
Yeah.
Really? Do you remember? Can you tell me about that? Can you tell me about seeing Deftones when you were a kid?
I saw Deftones twice. Once at a festival. The second one was for their tour for Diamond Eyes, and actually I won the ticket for the second show through like a contest. It was amazing, and both times it was like super crazy because I mean they were one of my favorite bands, and you see them live. It's always like super great. The first time I see them was in Torino, my city where I was born. So it was actually a little bit more special. And I remember it. Me and a friend of mine, we went to the concert like in the morning because we wanted to be like in front of the stage. And we got in front of the stage. We were literally in front of Chino the entire time. And I was protecting my friend because she was a girl. So I was literally holding her and with the how do you call it, the divider, rail. Yeah, the rail, and she was in the middle because the mosh pit was crazy, and we were like getting like
yeah. What year was this? Do you remember like what about?
I think I was like if I'm not wrong, 2007, 2008. Yeah.
Wow, that's so rad. That's so cool to think of that you were at a Deftones show in 2007 and then fast forward. But before we fast forward, like, so you said Deftones were one of your favorite bands. What were the other bands that you like? What other kinds of music were you into? What other kinds of bands?
Oh, I mean, it really depends because I like many genre. I'm not stuck on like, only metal. But when I was a kid, like I told you, I listened to a lot of like hardcore stuff. Mostly like the Black Dahlia Murder, Parkway Drive, As Blood or As Black, Between the Buried and Me, or if you go more chill on like Tool, like we say, Linkin Park, Deftones, Slipknot, Limp Bizkit, all those bands.
So were you watching their music videos, were you like more influenced by, because I would imagine that as a student of, like, you were a student of film at this time as well, right? So at least I guess I'm trying to figure out, like, because watching your music videos, they're not the same. I mean, I've checked out your website and I'm like trying to like look at what you're doing. Like none of them are the same, but you definitely have a style. So like what were the visual influences that were, or like what were the things that influenced maybe how you started filmmaking, like your style?
Yeah, I don't know. That's a tricky question. I think I always liked when you see, a music video or a cover album with something that is not like, the artist. So you don't see their face. So I really like Linkin Park a lot because they were. I mean, I liked them when I started because they were different from every other band. They were like, yeah, you see the band playing, but they were always trying to add some visual, something different. They were always trying to do things different than other bands. Of course, I mean, they are pretty huge, pretty popular, really commercial. Pretty sure some of the choices that they did in their career was like, they need to do business. But at the same time, you can tell when, from an artist, you can tell when someone else is trying to do things in a certain way. So I really like when, artists like that, they mix the, history, they mix like stories, movie reference, and they do it in an artistic way that is aesthetically pleasing. So it's not just, the band playing in an abandoned warehouse. It's cool. We got it. We see 1 million times. It's cool when you see, when you're telling a story. Even if you're not telling a story, because sometimes it can even be like, just images, just like piece of things that everyone can rearrange in their own way. Because, most of the time I write treatment and they don't have like a precise story or like, there is not a concept, but you can, everyone can find his own concept.
At the risk of getting ahead of myself, what you're talking about here really resonates with me, having just watched the new video for Crosses. It seems that there is a narrative in the video, but I can't figure out what it is. It feels like maybe there are some different parts that you could have moved around even, but it still feels like you're very much telling a story. Is that sort of what's happening in there? What is happening in the Crosses video?
I mean, it's it's one of those things that if I say too much, it's just like I can't. But let's say that those are pieces of a story that will probably be told soon. But it's just like, it's pieces of a puzzle that need to be put together at the end. But for now, it's just the first piece.
That's very cool. That's so cool. And it's because I wondered how all of this happened and how this this concept came about. It sounds like then it was your treatment to sort of write out what was created there, or did you collaborate in the video?
Basically, when Warner first approached me to work on this video, I received some reference from Ben, and I work on those references. And after that, I met Chino and Sean, and we did some brainstorming on the ideas. They gave me a lot of really cool ideas. I put some ideas on the table, and after that, we just nailed few ideas and we executed. But was really organic process. I mean, it's just like, I really like the project. They like my work. So it was like, it seems really fun because, it seems really weird for me because, like I told you before, I'm from Italy, from a completely different universe. Now I'm in the United States working with one of my favorite artists and we are buddies, we meet each other. So it's just like, it's really cool. And at the same point is really, how can I say, can't find the right words, but it gave me like a lot of really inspiring. Like when I came back from the meeting, when I met them, was like really inspired. Like I wanted to make music. Because I make music too. So I wanted to create because it inspired me so much, and it's amazing.
What was the actual shooting like when you're shooting Chino Moreno? It's one of your favorite artists, and let's not get it twisted. Sean's nothing to sneeze at either. Like
yeah.
Crosses is great, but you've had some experience, shooting with big bands. Mastodon's one of my favorites, in your videos that you've done with Mastodon are super. Nice. So it's like I'm sure you're a bit accustomed to that feeling of like, okay, you're working and they are, your artist, you're shooting. But what was that? But what was that experience like? How was it? What was it like when you're on set, you got the camera on them and working with those guys?
It was pretty easy working on set. It's been like we shot for 2 days, few different locations, and Yeah, mostly like you say, it's kind of like, it's not easy because you need to think about the fact that you're working with them, and it's like it's not like another simple day on shooting a video. But when you enter in the zone, especially like for me, it's when I meet an artist before shooting a video, is it's way easier shooting a video afterward. If I have to meet the artist on the day and I don't know the artist, I don't know how the artist can react on things, is another thing. And so it was cool that before of that we did some work for Deftones. We knew each other. We met. We worked on the idea. So it was was easier, but at the same time, you're like working for Chino, so it's kind of like you have like a little kid in your brain that is going crazy and just like taking all his hair apart. It's like,
Did it feel like he was your boss on the set, or did he feel like he was? Yeah.
No, they were like listening to what I was saying, and Chino was always asking me like what to do, like because I'm pretty sure he trusts, so he of course want to know how can I say, he want to know, and he want to know how to be placed and how to move,
how to execute your vision.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's fun to think about, because I know that for a lot of artists, music videos can be kind of a drag. They've got to it's just not their element. But
but even when I was working with Mastodon, they're the same. They're super easy to work with. Like we did 2 videos with them and a live visual for their tour. Every time I did a work for them, I deliver. They were happy. No edits. Was super cool.
That's really awesome. Okay, so how did the remix, the tourist remix of "Change in the House of Flies" come about?
It was totally random. Like at some point, I have I work with this guy at Warner Records. His name is Devin, and he's he's a star in the music video commissioner system. He's one of the guys that I think, in my opinion, commissioned some of the best video in our era. And he worked for Warner for something like 30 years, something like that. So he commissioned all the Deftones video, all the Linkin Park, and many other artists. So I worked with him in the past, and at some point, like 2 years ago, he called me one day and was like, "Look, I have this remix video for the White Pony anniversary. Would you like to work on it?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do." I mean, I was going crazy. I mean, my favorite song from Deftones from that period was "Change." So I was like, it's kind of like a coincidence. So I proposed a treatment, and they liked it, and they just like hired me right away. So after that, I received a drive with all the footage from the video. So I was literally me going through for days of this footage, and I was like, crying, looking all this stuff. And I was surprised because in the first video, they didn't use a lot of the footage. So I basically edit. And I mean, if you know the original video and you see the 2 video, you can understand, you can see that there are many things that you don't see in the first video. And I was kind of like, bummed, because when the video came out, not many people noticed that. I see the comment because I always love to read the comments. And I noticed just one person. It was like, "Yo, you guys are all asking like an HD version of the Change video, but here you can't understand it. You have so many new shots that are not in the original video."
I totally might have been that guy, because I felt that way. Not to like be like, yeah, I'd noticed it, but I feel like I did.
Yeah.
And it was such a wonderful experience as the, as a lover of both the album and the music videos that came along with it. I mean, because they really went after it with that album and the videos for that album. It was so cool to see the unearthed footage. Like, to me, that's almost what stood out the most. Although you did add so many different elements. I can't decide if I want to ask you about the other footage, like all of the other footage that we haven't seen, or if I want to ask you about the treatment itself, because I'm curious about what you presented to them in terms that, like, what was the original idea that you presented that became this video? What was the treatment like?
The original idea was really loose, especially because I didn't saw. I mean, all the footage. that it was something that I saw after presenting the treatment. So the original idea was just like, a visual mood board with the effect that I want to create, this kind of laser effect, and that's it. But when I received the footage, I understood, all the things that I can do and all the different timeline that I can create. And it's been really hard to work on the project because there were so many things that I could do and so many ways that I can edit that video. So it took me literally a week for that edit. It usually take me a few days for an edit, but that one was like a week working every day, like 8-10 hours a day on, editing.
Was it just because there were too many choices to make?
I had something around 10 hours of footage. So once I did the selection, there was so much stuff that was good that I didn't even know. It was so much.
I love so many of the shots of the party and the party goers that we hadn't seen before. Like there were just, I was thinking that they were like, it was footage that you might have shot, like was there anything like, cause there is some stuff in there that's new that you added, but it's none of the sequences of the party itself or the band performing, obviously, because you can't.
No, the only thing that we add are there are a few 3D shots, the one with a moth and some with those worms and something with like some like liquid like falling.
That's so cool. It's such a cool, it really did complete the whole experience of the remix, the album. The Black Stallion thing was so special because it's so out of character for the band to be, retrospective in that way.
Yeah, totally.
And yet your visual interpretation, did you get to hear the song before the remix, before you did so you were listening to the remix and really like putting the visuals to the music?
Totally.
Because it felt so cohesive and like synergetic in that the song was a reimagining of the original, and your video is like a reimagining of the video. It's so cool. Wow, that's really
in the beginning, I remember when I hear the first time the song, I was like, damn, I was expecting something else from Change. But when I start to work on the video, the song kind of grew on me. And like right now, if I listen, I love that song. It's amazing. It's the best remix that they could have done for that song. But I kind of understand, like I read some comments, even a few friends, they told me, I don't like that version. It's like I was expecting something else for that type of song. But I think it's just, you just need to listen to it a few times. It's a long song. It's different. It's drum and bass. I mean,
yeah. No, but it's cool. And I love that part of the album and that they're all reimaginings of those songs. Do you have any other favorite or maybe least favorite Deftones videos? I would imagine you're familiar with some of the catalog. Like, just to maybe refresh your memory, there's My Own Summer, which famously has them performing out on the water with the sharks.
I love that. I don't know. I just like, those are classic. I'm the kind of guy that look at those videos and I'm like, I try to imagine how could I've done those, but I don't know. It's like every video is his own story. I mean, you can always say, I could have done that better, but it's kind of impossible because, I mean, at the same time, you never know what can happen. You never know the backstories. At the end of the day, doing video production is always like it's a lot of work.
Who makes the videos that you like to watch?
I think it's the same thing of before. It's just like, when there is something interesting that can be either the aesthetic or either the story, but the story doesn't have to make sense. If for me makes sense, maybe for you doesn't make sense. It's just like it's a really personal thing. For me, it's just like when I see something like I like, it's just like, it can be two colors together, some cool geometry. It really depends. Sometimes I like really complex stuff. Sometimes I like really simple things.
Does that what in terms of the band's catalog, Deftones music? Is it are there particular albums that you're into? What are your favorite ones?
It's really hard with Deftones, because Deftones are one of those bands that I most like everything. Like and I always like to listen album like from beginning to the end, because I like kind of every song. But I will say, yeah, White Pony, and I don't know. I really like Diamond Eyes because of the period when it came out, and I was really stuck with that album too. I like all their records.
Have you seen them live since those first two times? Because the
No.
2 times before, that was before you came to America and started working with. Okay, wow.
Yeah. They're playing in LA in a month, so the show is sold out. But I'll probably try to find a way to go.
You don't have a ticket yet?
Not yet, but I'll work on it.
Well, you might need to get to work, man. If it's only a month away, you might need to use that connection. Your guy over there at Warner, tell him to hook you up, make it happen. So, and the way that I sort of put the dots together as to who you were was through Frank Maddox, who posted on Instagram a photo that you had shared of him.
Yeah.
He sent you a White Pony vinyl.
Speaking of which, it's that.
Look at that.
So basically, the story is the first day that we were shooting with Cross, as he was taking some picture of them, and we were speaking, and I told him like, damn, it's like I'm looking for a White Pony vinyl from like 20 years. It's impossible to find. The only one that you can find on eBay are $1,000. And he was like, wait, I have many. I will bring it to you tomorrow. And I was like, oh yeah, for sure. You know, when people tell you something like that, it will never happen. And the day after he came, first thing that he gave me, like that he did, he was like, here you are. I was like, whoa. And basically, I mean, this I think is a promotional version because it doesn't have anything on the back.
Wow.
Anything here. But if you open it, we have, so the vinyl is red, which is really weird. So we have this thing inside with all the lyrics. And we have the two vinyls. And the vinyl itself is like, it's this guy here.
Look at that
super
sexy
sick
piece of art.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
So he made my day when he got me this. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I'm the happiest kid ever.
Dude, when I saw it, I was like, whoa, because I know what that is. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm no dummy.
What is this actually? Because I did some research, but I'm not quite sure I understand. Is a promotional version of White Pony?
Yeah, the red vinyl's rare. Although I'll freely admit that I am not an expert, because there are a lot of different versions of the vinyl, different albums. So there are a lot of different nuances to the vinyl game that I'm not an expert at, but I know for a fact that is not an ordinary everyday.
Yeah, for me, I mean, those kind of things are like those kind of things that I will keep forever. So for me, I mean, I what can I say? I'm glad it's rare, but it will stay here forever. So I'm not thinking to sell it or something like that. So.
Did you listen to it?
Yeah, it's great. I have the new version of White Pony. Sound the same, but it's it's great.
That's so cool. Wow, what a fascinating thing to think about. So that all of these years later, that you got to this opportunity, and now the relationship continues to work with Chino. And it sounds like perhaps there are maybe there's some chance that you'll be continuing your work with Crosses. Is that?
Let's see. Yeah.
A little, yeah. Okay, I mean, I hope so. Are there any other artists that you've wanted to work with? Artists, because it sounds like you and I have something in common in terms of the fact that we love heavy music. I mean, Deftones for sure, but Are there other artists out there that you're
I see. I don't know if I'm right, but I see Incubus right there.
Oh yeah.
Will be great. Work with them. I love Nine Inch Nails. Will be like a dream working with them. Yeah, I see Incubus.
And Nine Inch Nails, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
would have been a dream working with Linkin Park, but we can't. But yeah, it's just
Mike's always making music, though. I mean, there's certainly a chance that I mean, and I think that's so cool too. What you were thinking, when you were speaking about Linkin Park and the visual aspects of their artistry, and I think you get a strong sense of that too because Mike's a visual artist.
Yeah,
and that's really
totally yeah.
That would be cool to see some collab with you and Mike Shinoda, man.
We got close a year ago, but
oh really?
We didn't do it, but I'm pretty sure in the future we will be able to.
Man, that's super sick. Well, I'm super excited to see, knock on wood, hopefully that the work that's forthcoming, because especially as a fan of Crosses and anything that Chino does.
I can for sure say that there is more in the work. I can't say when it will come out, if it will come out, or what it will come out, but there's something there.
That's pretty much how I tell people when the podcast is coming out. It's coming. There's more. There will be more.
Don't worry about it. You will see
sure
it. At some point, you will wake up and you will freak out about it.
Well, the way that I like to wrap up every episode of the podcast is with a request for recommendations. And that's inspired by something that Chino said on a podcast once, that he tweets out the links to music that he likes, because he thinks that's like the coolest thing that somebody could get from him on social media, is just like a recommendation. So in that spirit, could you put me on to 3 things? And it doesn't necessarily have to be, it can be music related. It can be visual. It could be, film, or anything in the world that you think people should check out. 1, 2, a couple of 3 things, whatever you think that's worthwhile.
So I will say the first one, Alejandro Jodorowsky, which is one of my biggest inspiration. He's a director. He's great. All this stuff is crazy.
Would he have done something that I might be familiar with?
One of his most famous movies, The Holy Mountain.
Okay.
If you see that movie and after you see my videos, you understand everything.
Awesome.
I don't copy. I take inspiration. I admit it, but he's the master. He's great.
That's what's up. Excellent.
That's the first. Second one. Let me see. That's really hard. Let's say music related. Let's say something about music. Let's see. Lately, music related. I'm listening to a band that is really cool. They're from Los Angeles. I saw them live. Completely different from Deftones, but they are a cool vibe. Their name is Crumb. The female lead singer. They're super cool. I'm listening to them a lot lately. Crumb, yeah. Third thing, let's talk about food. Let's talk about food.
Lately, about food. I like that.
I'm Italian. I'm eating a lot of like Asian food because I love it, and I got to this. There is this spot in Los Angeles. If there is anyone listening local, there is this spot called Pine and Crane, and in the Silver Lake area, it's so good, and it's not even expensive. It's great. That's amazing.
I know it's sort of obvious at this point that, people who choose to work with Deftones are fans of Deftones, but it's just so cool to see how tremendously talented some of these people are. Like, for instance, Deftones played The Greek this week, and Josh from Fantagram was there. Gavin Rossdale was there. Titus Welliver from Bosch. Actually, that's kind of fun. Bush and Bosch, both at the Deftones show. And they all posted pictures or videos from the show. I mean, pick anyone who's been on this podcast. Insanely talented people. I saw Christian from Gulch tweet after the show in San Francisco that their set list was perfect. And that just feels good. Like, somehow their talent gives credibility to my taste. Because we love Deftones. But I'm telling you, these Crosses videos, the Mastodon videos, the videos for Paris, this dude makes incredible visual art. Thanks to Lorenzo Diego Carrera for speaking with me today. I'm super geeked to see what you do next, man. And that's it for today. My name is Woody. You can reach me at Woodbruh on Instagram and Twitter if you want to talk about Deftones. You know where to find me. Thank you for listening to Deftones, and thank you for listening to Change in the House of Pods.